So this was interesting on the heels of some of the recent discussions because I've seen people going after Caitlin Clark's agent, for walking on eggshells with some of her comments. And, she said there's no way to fairly compensate Caitlin Clark, which was basically her way of saying, yes, Clark is explosively popular and the reason for the popularity in the WNBA and women's basketball. But she also, did the whole tiptoeing thing and crediting those who came before, what I've called the WNBA reverence tax. But, in her case, she has to make sure that she's not doing anything incendiary for Clark or fanning any flames with people who might jump on her. That is part of her job to not put her client in a firestorm. But with that said, I've pushed back on, and, I've been firm on this. Caitlin Clark is certainly the reason for the explosion in the women's game, or the largest reason. The biggest. There's never one, but that if you're gonna single one out, it's her. And at the same time, I think that leads to growth for everything else, and we've seen it. And I've cited this. I don't know how many different times I've said it, but I've not really heard it posed the way it was posed to Jan Jensen by I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but I'll just use his Twitter handle, Blake Horn TV, for Hawkeye headquarters. Did an interview with Jan Jensen. Once there's a link to it, I would link it as well. But I want to properly credit it, and I give him credit for the question because he kind of point blank put that on the table for Jan Jensen, and I thought she knocked her answer out of the park.
There's, especially last year when Caitlin went to the next level, there was a lot of, the word gatekeeping came up a lot. People in that league, whether it was talking about media, players, whoever, saying, oh, you weren't here before, you can't talk about us now, you can't cover us now. But it was never like that when Caitlin was doing her thing here. It was always, hey, a rising tide lifts all boats. We want you here. We don't care if you weren't covering us before. We want you here now. When you see things like that start to fill the air, just what are your thoughts?
I think it's disappointing. I think really the evolution, right, is that's the process. And if you love what you do, whatever part of that process that you are, I believe that you want to enjoy it and you want to keep moving a needle, right? If you're in a public sport. I never quite understood that because it always takes something unique and special to kind of make folks double take, right? Why is something popular in pop culture? Well, the right people kind of like it, and then everybody starts to like it, and that's just how it works, right? So then when you have like a generational talent like a Caitlin, and she's doing everything that she possibly can, and doing it with such flair, when that was met with hold on, wait, no, you can't, or where were you then? I just think it should have been so much gratitude. Hey, I'm glad you're here now. And I think it cast a light on what had happened before. So there were chances. One good example, Lynette Woodard, right? She got a really nice moment in the sun where maybe a lot of people really didn't understand what she had done. And I just think that's part of the evolution.
And I would say, how about Maya Moore? Maya Moore, a great player, but her jersey retirement night, I think, was emphasized. A lot of people found out who Maya Moore was, or Tisha Penicheiro, or hell, even Diana Taurasi. It's not a diss to what people accomplished in the past, or it doesn't make it less impressive. It doesn't make them less good. It doesn't bring down their self-worth to simply note that more people are paying attention now. And I don't think anybody needed to kiss Caitlin Clark's ass, by the way. Like, I don't think it's that. But some warmth and embrace, and even a thank you comes across a little bit too much. Like, thank you, Caitlin. Nobody needed to do that. But not shunning, not making her the one who has to answer for everything, not pretending things weren't what they were, not pretending somebody else was on her level, not pretending, you know, it wouldn't matter if she's on the Olympic team, not just for the, you know, attention she deserved to be there on merit, but that wouldn't have mattered, or nobody cared about that, or not pretending, you know, any of these things that we saw, or you know, a knee jerk. You must mention other people when you're talking about Caitlin Clark. You know, the laundry list, or credit the entire rookie class when you're talking about Caitlin Clark, or saying that all these fans that came in are bad and that she needs to denounce any negativity that's come in, or, you know, saying that the new fans don't care about the past, like all of that. Just a, you know, a celebration, if you will, was in order, and it should have been a victory lap instead of the, you know, the gate closing as you're getting to the finish line, the gatekeeping. And that's where the term legacy, you know, WNBA media has come up, or I've called them crybaby bullies. And I joke about the WNBA reverence tax. Now, I think maybe that, you know, all of that is out of the way. Having the, you know, there will always be some of it. You know, the greats always get hated on, but they'll never be what we saw last season again. And you saw the people go from some of them, you know, nobody's going to go to the Fever, to all of these players joining the Fever because they know what's what and they know what's up. And bottom line is, everybody knows the truth of the matter, whether they'll say it or not. I mean, that's where some of the shade comes from, because they actually know the truth. And you know, you see the league will continue to grow, and obviously Clark will continue to thrive. And I think, you know, you saw Kelsey Mitchell shout her out for the growth. You saw, I think, you know, since the season ended, you've seen a little bit of a tone change from the media coverage as well, because the media was a part of it. You know, not even just like the, you know, the entrenched WNBA media, but like ESPN and it was just disappointing. I guess Jan Jensen had it right. And it's nice to see some people have her back, like Jan Jensen. Forgot to put the lower third up this entire video. Like Jan Jensen, like Lisa Bluter, like, you know, any of the other people who had her back from day one. And I think you'll see that with Stephanie White now. And I think you'll start to see that change across the board, where it's not all the outside people embracing her, but the people inside the WNBA circles as well, because Caitlin Clark has given nothing but that energy herself. The welcoming, embracing, respectful energy. It deserves to come back in return.